right here, raise your right hand if you sworn in by the court.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Just listen.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Deputy Jankowski, can you please introduce yourself to the jury?
I'm Deputy Jankowski with the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office.
Tell the jury about your education and training and experience.
So I went to the police academy. I've done multiple specialty classes like speed and measurement, as well as narcotics and dangerous drugs. I'm a pit instructor for the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office. I currently work on the road patrol, so you call 911 in my area. I'm the one showing up.
I want to direct your attention specifically to this case as it pertains to the defendant. Did you have an opportunity to respond to address in Port Charlotte as part of a domestic violence battery investigation?
I did.
And at the time, were you a field training officer of another one of the deputies who was present?
I was.
And who were you supervising?
I was training Deputy Sharp.
And were you basically overseeing him and allowing him to do his part of the investigation?
Correct.
What was your role in the investigation?
So I was overseeing, so he was in his final phases of training. So I let him do his investigation. I'm there to guide him if he has questions or to help him along if he gets stuck in a certain situation.
Now, while you were doing that, did you have your body cam going?
I did.
When the investigation was kind of coming to an end, were you inside with Kathy Griffith and her mom, Susan Detman, in the living room area?
I was.
And were you asking certain questions that pertains to domestic violence within the household?
I did.
Your Honor, the state at this time would move State Exhibit 189 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
It will be received.
I just need one moment, Your Honor. Thanks, John. And before we play it, would this is it a fair statement that the defendant at this time is outside, either in the back of your patrol vehicle or somewhere else?
That is correct.
So the only two people present, civilian-wise, would be the victim, Kathy Griffith, and her mother?
That's correct.
A couple quick yes or no questions I almost forgot before we go. And do you think he's capable of killing you?
Yes.
Does he have access to a firearm?
No.
And
Not anymore.
all right. Any other questions before we leave? Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
So when you ask, do you think he's capable of killing you, was her response yes?
Yes, it was.
And then in the back of your patrol vehicle, and for the record, that was from around November 13th, 2023 at 10:26 p.m. Excuse me, at 10:20 p.m. This next video, 190, from the back of your vehicle will be at November 13th, the same day at 10:26 p.m.
That's not in evidence yet.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right, Your Honor. Let me ask you a couple of questions about that. Now, as you return to your vehicle, did your body cam capture a little bit of a conversation between Susan Detman, who was standing outside of your patrol vehicle as she spoke with her grandson, the defendant?
It did.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would move State Exhibit 190 into evidence,
Ms. Thornhill,
No objection.
it will be received.
and with the court's permission, we'll play it for the jury.
Amen.
Thank you.
Why did you stand up? And why did you say?
I was trying to have a face-to-face conversation.
No, you didn't. You stood up and said, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Yes, you did. I was there.
I was saying, Mom, I'm not a psychopath. I'm not this murderer. I'm just trying to peacefully coexist and just figure something out. She kept telling me to shut up and shut up, and when I wouldn't shut up, she hit me.
No, that's not what happened, Collin. That's not what happened. You never said you wanted to peacefully coexist.
I've been saying that.
You said that in the car, but not there with her.
Deputy, towards the beginning of that clip, did you hear the defendant say, I'm not a psychopath? Mom, I'm not a psychopath. I'm not this murderer.
I did.
Deputy Jankowski, I have no further questions for you.
Cross.
Good afternoon, Deputy Jankowski.
Good afternoon.
Collin was in the back of, was that your car or was that somebody else's car?
That was my car.
For over 5 hours that night, wasn't he?
I don't know the exact time frame. That doesn't sound right.
Well, one of the camera clips we've seen was from like 10 p.m. on the 13th. And then the last one from your car was 2:30 or so on the 14th, 2:30 a.m. So sorry, 4.5 hours. Does that sound about right?
I couldn't say for sure. It sounds like a long period of time for someone that was arrested for battery to sit in the back of a car for 4 hours to me.
Is it fair to say that this investigation took a long time?
It did take a reasonable amount of time.
I'm not saying that anybody
Yeah.
delayed anything. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that it wasn't a quick, we can determine exactly what happened right away kind of thing, was it?
No, because people had conflicting stories.
Right. That last little bit, that clip that showed part of a conversation between Susan Detman and Collin, Collin said that his mom had called him a psychopath and a murderer, right?
I know Collin stated in that clip, I'm not a psychopath, I'm not this murderer, if I'm quoting it correctly.
But he said that I told my mom that I'm not that, correct? Implying that she had called him those things.
I know he said the word mom before he made that statement.
Did you ever ask Kathy whether she called him those names?
No.
Thank you.
Redirect.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Is the witness released?
Yes.
Ms. Thornhill?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next witness.
Your Honor, the state calls Detective Danny Peters with the Polk County Sheriff's Office.